just put your hands together so I know who to pass the mic to. So are there any questions for Bhante?
Yes. So we will start from somewhere. Maybe we'll start from you and then we will go there.
Oh.
Take this mic. Yes.
One person, one question.
Yeah.
And then
we will see how it goes. Yeah.
Also, everybody will ask a question already?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so my question probably, Bhante, is about the Anapanasati. There are the breath meditation can be used for both insight and for calming. And then there's also usually the open awareness type and the focused attention type. What usually would be the best type of breath meditation for what particular context or condition?
Interesting. So just keep it and give it to the person who is asking the next question. So how do we know which breath meditation did the Buddha teach us? So we have to go to the Pāli text, that is the oldest text. Now you can see that there are many people who are teaching breath meditation from different Buddhist schools, from later traditions. As you said, samatha, vipassana type of meditations. But if we really want to find out what could be the best way to learn about breath meditation, we have to go to the early Buddhist sutras, I would say suttas, which is none other than Satipatthana Sutta. So in this Satipatthana Sutta, are you familiar with Pāli text? Anybody here? How is your Pāli text knowledge? Are you exposed to Pāli text?
Yes.
Huh? You have to be, because you are Theravāda Buddhist fellowship. I mean, you have no other excuse, right?
Quite shy.
Yes.
They don't want to assume.
Okay. So then when you say Philippine Theravāda Buddhist fellowship, it is Theravāda, fundamentally going around Pāli text, right? So these Pāli texts are the original texts we believe about the Buddha. The other traditions, Mahayana, Vajrayana, they all came after, many centuries after. So the thing that we can do is to go to the Satipatthana Sutta, the what you call the Buddhist discourse about mindfulness, and then to find out the section with regard to the breath meditation. Okay. When you go to that section, the Buddha talks about how to practice breath meditation. He first asks us to find the suitable location. What is the suitable location? A place that you can practice it. Now normally people go for different places that they would like to practice. It might be a remote place, it might be a forest, it might be a retreat center, but the ideal place for the breath meditation is your house, because you are spending many hours in that house. Ideal place. But the special place is Kuba. Ideal place is your house, because you can't come here all the time. You only come here on Saturdays, right?
Yes.
Couple hours. So make your house as the ideal place for your breath meditation. Why? When you go inside the house, when you stay in the house, you feel that this is my place of meditation. Otherwise, if you think that that particular place is my meditation, then you will think, until I get out of my house, I am not into the meditation. So number one is making your place, your comfortable comfort zone as your breath meditation location. You may complain about the people in the house. That is happening because of your ignorance. Because you think in order for you to meditation to happen, you must exit the house. That's why those thoughts are coming. But once you set up your mind that my house is the best place for me to meditate, then you will automatically come to that point of comfort zone as your meditation. Normally when there is comfort zone, people do bad things. People are more spoiled. But Buddhism says, make your comfort zone to be the place of your meditation. So number one, according to Satipatthana Sutta, is finding the suitable location. Ideally speaking, your house, your place. Second, posture. What is the ideal posture for the breath meditation according to Satipatthana Sutta? You need to be seated comfortably, right? Are you sitting comfortably? Supposed to be, right? And then you need to sit, sit upright. Keep your back upright. Why is it important to keep our back upright? I think that's a big issue in today's world. Someone is coming. It is a big problem in today's world because you see that when people are checking their phones, and gadgets, they are always looking down, right? It is very likely that they might be developing a certain stoopy, hunchback nature, right? You think about it, many people, they are in their digital worlds all the time. So while you are meditating, you need to keep your back upright as long as you don't have a medical problem. That is,
stay away.
The moment, not necessarily. Then you are looking for a backrest. Look for that in the airplane, not in the meditation place. So it is better to keep your back upright, but you may sit on the chair. That is okay. And then the Buddha asks us to look at the place of our attention. Where should we pay attention to in our breath meditation? If you look at those meditation styles, post-Theravada meditation styles, I don't want to name their names, you could see that they are asking us to localize our attention to a certain part of the body for the breath meditation, such as tip of the nose, upper lip, lower lip, tummy, then where else? There are so many places that they are referring to with regard to where you should keep your attention to look for the breath. But the Buddha said, don't localize any place in your body for the breath meditation. Because once you localize, you think your breath happens only in that place. It's a problem because breath is happening everywhere. You only see the breath here, but Vayo Dhatu, element of air, is going through all across the body. That's why in the Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha is saying, that you need to watch your breathe in, breathe out part by experiencing the whole body. Sabbha kaya patisangvedi. Not only lips, not only tip of the nose, not only tummy, right? Because once you focus on that, you look for how is my belly is rising and how is it. Then somebody who should have a very big belly should be meditating much easier than all of us, right? That's not a good idea, right? So attention has to be all across the body, but in particular, Buddha asks, using a Pali word called Mukha Sami, what he call Ujunkayam Panidai, Parimukang Sating Upatta Petwa. These are the Pali terms. Parimukang means, Mukha means face. So keep your attention with regard to breath all the time in front of your face. Why? When you keep your attention in front of the face, you will have the breath experience, breath through the nostrils, and sometimes we breathe through mouth, especially when we are very tired, right? Maybe we take deep breath sometime through our mouth, and we might feel now when the fan is giving us air, we feel that air across the different profiles of the face. So in front of the face could be the best area to keep the attention to, but it should not limit to the face. It has to be all across the body. Now the first thing is finding the place for the meditation. Your house is the best place. Posture and the attention. And now we are getting into the actual breath meditation. What did the Buddha ask to do? The Buddha said first, you need to watch what kind of breath should we focus on. Are we going to breathe in and then watch that, or are we going to watch our natural breaths? What kind of breath are we supposed to watch?
Natural breath.
Natural breath. So don't try to make exaggerated breaths and then to watch it. That is called controlled breathing. Right? You control yourself and then watch it. And the Buddha asks us first, you need to watch your natural breaths. And with regard to the varieties of the breath, he understood that there are 3 types of breaths: long, short, actually long, short. Now we understand another type of breath, mixed breath, as we said in the meditation. Sometimes some breaths are not ideally long, ideally short, partly long, partly short. So we call them as mixed breath. So as you spend the meditation, during the meditation, whenever a certain breath appears, at that point you watch how that particular breath is arising, how it stays for a moment, how it fades away. With regard to long, short, mixed. It is not necessary to catch all the breaths. So breaths are like cable cars. Whether you board or not, it will come downstairs, it will come to the bottom, it will go back. Right? You can't stop it unless you put the emergency button. Right? So you are only focusing on one particular breath with regard to arising, staying, going away. Right? So now you are continuing the breath meditation. As you continue the breath meditation, the Buddha said in that sutta, you are coming to a certain calmness. You are calming your bodily formations. We call them as Kaya Sankhara. I can write it if we have a board over here, whiteboard. Kaya Sankhara. What are the Kaya Sankharas? In breaths, out breaths. So when you watch your breaths, then you understand that your breaths, when you watch them, your breaths will become very calm. So that means your raw breaths are becoming calm. So the idea here is that in the sutta is that the more you refine your breaths, the calmer you are. Because normally if you feel your breath at any time, that means you are not calm. Even at this point, if you feel your breath, that means you are not calm. So by watching your breaths, by understanding the whole experience of the air element, Vayodhatu, you will calm them down. So then what will happen is that once you calm your breath, it will help you to see the reality. Insight part now kicks in. Insight part is not easy to be observed until you calm yourself down. Now normally in our life, while we are having a very hard time with regard to breath, we are trying to see the insight. Then it will be a flashback of the reality. Right? So that is how the Buddha informed us about how to do the breath meditation in his sutta. So to answer the question, I would say it is better to learn all these meditations from the Pāli text. That is my suggestion. Just like how I said about the breath meditation. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. We will pass to, yes.
Hello, Bhante, good afternoon. Nice to meet you again.
Yes, good to see you. Yes.
So, my question is more on about the precepts. I've been practicing and keeping the precept for a while now. And
What precepts are they?
five
precepts.
five
Okay,
precepts.
5 precepts.
So, practicing the precept and doing meditation daily really changed my life. So, I've been doing my best to be mindful, and it really helps my relationship with my family and others. So, my question about precept is it advisable for a layperson to consider adding precept?
Is it considered for layperson too?
To add precept, I've been practicing Oposata every 2 weeks. So I'm wondering if I can practice it daily. Is it advisable to do that?
Okay.
Yes, that's my
Do
question.
you mean 8 precepts?
Yes.
Ah.
Or is it possible for me to make it 6, 7 for my daily practice?
Okay. Interesting. So it is not necessary because are all of you aware about the 5 precepts? May I know what are the 5 precepts from others? Then I will get back to the question. Yes? What are the 5 precepts from here? First precept, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Abstain of killing.
Huh? Not killing,
Not stealing.
not stealing,
No sexual misconduct.
not sexually misbehaving.
No alcohol in drinks.
Let's go in order. Not lying,
Not lying.
not lying,
No alcohol.
not taking intoxicants, right? So you are not happy with these 5. You want to extend,
It is not. I'm not happy, but I believe.
Yes.
I've been practicing it for a while, and I.
Okay, now what he's saying is that in Buddhist cultures, there's a practice on full moon days. They take another couple of precepts. What are they? Okay, would you like to share what are the additional precepts?
Yeah. The 6th precept is avoid taking meals
After midday.
midday.
Ah,
Then
okay.
the 7th precept is to avoid entertainments, garlands, and so on. Then the 8th precept is to avoid sleeping in high luxurious bed. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and also you have to change the third precept.
No sexual.
No sexual activity on that,
activity, yeah.
right? Well, I mean, it depends. I don't advise everybody to make it, but I think there are some other benefits too, because we are always driven by clinging. We cling to a lot of things: people, food, our attitudes, political views, social views. So it's better to sometime engage in those things. Like, just say for instance, I think the third precept is very clear, and then the 6th one is that you are not taking food after midday. My understanding with regard to that precept is this: it's not mostly about the timing. Yes, you can stay on to the time. Now if you look at our daily life, you know that when there is a fridge with food, when we know there are food inside the fridge, we always go and open the fridge and eat, come back, go, eat, come back. So we are driven into a compulsive eating behavior, right? Nobody will say anything about you. Maybe you buy your own food, you buy your own grocery, you will eat them. But the problem is, as a result of this compulsive eating habits, maybe not the needs but the wants, right? You might be sick, because as we understand, sickness is a normal phenomenon to all of us, depending on our way of taking care of the body. But if you get sick early, if you become sick time to time, you won't be able to practice Dhamma. You will get into diabetes, you will get into some other problems, non-communicable, very dangerous problems. So I think it's better to look at that precept as a discipline to us. Today, though I have some urge to go and eat by opening the fridge. Maybe nowadays food is very easy to be found compared to 20 years ago. 20 years ago, if you want to buy something, you have to go and then look for the better food, better fruits, better vegetables. Nowadays, you just click on the app, and then the food will be here at your doorstep. So I think nowadays people consume a lot of food compared to our predecessors. It's a blessing in a way. On the other hand, if we don't know our limits, it will be a curse on us. So that's why that precept will help us to at least understand my eating habits, my personal eating habits, and also you can monitor, you can let other people understand their eating, also drinking habits. So I think that's important. The 7th precept is about wearing jewelry and all that, right? But this one we have to be very careful when we discuss it. In one of my retreats in another country, There was one lady who was complaining about another lady, saying that I feel she had sprayed perfume. Yeah, and she mentioned lavender. Right? Yes. I said, what's the problem? Nobody can come here by spraying perfume. Then I asked her to come as well. And then she said something very interesting. What she said was, I sprayed perfume because I have a natural body odor. So because I have a lot of loving kindness to all of you, I sprayed it and I came to the retreat. It's a good idea. That's why when we impose certain things, we have to know their own context. Before we say, everybody, you can't do this. Different people are different. Right? So if we make a very strong rule that nobody can do that, she would have not been able to come to the retreat. Right? So that's why it's very important to understand the context. Right? Overall, that precept seems to be something where you try to live minimally on that day. Maybe for someone who is highly driven by the makeup every day, going to let go of the makeup on that day. Is it possible, easy? Can you go without the makeup on that day? Maybe somebody can try. I'm not saying everybody should do that. Right? Maybe someone who is very much into the body image awareness, thinking it in a little different way. Today, I try to stay minimal. Right? It doesn't mean someone who has a lot of gray hairs not dyeing the hair on that day. You have to dye the hair, but but anyway, you feel looking good about yourself. So try to stay minimally on that particular day. And the last one, not using luxurious beds and chairs. So how are we going to practice? Let's say someone has a nice house which has all the good beds, cozy, comfortable beds. Right? So I think it's more likely not just the bed and the attitude that you are having with regard to the bed, to the chair. Right? So the answer to the question is that it depends on you. If you really want to do that, you can do it. But 5 precepts are enough as a layperson, because you have a family life too. So it's better to look at it that way as well. So, but time to time you can practice certain things. There's no harm. Okay, so we will give it to her.
My question is, Bhante, is there a proper way of repenting in the Buddhist tradition? So that's my question.
Okay, remorse, regret. Well, Buddhism understands that remorse is a hindrance to meditation, to the reality. When I am regretting about something, I have some sort of hatred about myself, self-hatred. Why did I do it? I should have not done it. What if I had not done it? Buddhism initially looks at it as a hindrance, but there is a good side as well. The good side is, if I make a mistake, spiritual mistake, career mistake, relationship mistake, money mistake, then I understand my problem. I feel I did something wrong. I should not repeat that thing. So Buddhism understands that remorse, repentance is good as long as you understand the problem, but not to dwell on that state. Because if you keep dwelling on that state, what will happen to you is that you will create a sort of self-hatred. That is not good. So that is how Buddhism looks at it. On one side, it is something that we have to overcome by practicing Anapanasati meditation. On the other side, it is helpful in a way as long as we use it to understand our own mistake. There are a lot of people who don't want to look at their mistake. They always say, I am correct, I am good, nobody should tell me, I am right. So for those people, they can use this remorse, regret as a place to redefine his or her spiritual life, to get back to normal. I think you are doing that in the Catholic Church, right? You have a confession room. I don't know how that works But at least you go and tell that to the priest. You don't keep to yourself. Whether you are given the forgiveness or not, that activity is good, not keeping that to yourself, not torturing yourself. So Buddhism looks at it in two ways. One is what you call a hindrance, nivarana, to get rid of. When I have more reality about what happened, I can get rid of my remorse. On the other hand, remorse to the extent of understanding my own problem is not bad. Even think about some animals, they feel remorseful. Some dogs, they scratch wrong places in the house, and when the owners are finding, they know they did it. They are remorseful. Even some other animals too, right? So I think it's a universal feeling. Maybe as human beings, if we can bring it to understand our own spiritual failures, that kind of remorse is good to that extent. But not that every day, every morning you are waking up, I did that thing, I should be very ashamed about myself. That's not a good idea. So that's how we look at remorse. Pali word is kukkucca, K-U-K-K-U-C-C-A, kukkucca. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
I would like to ask if, since we're not the body, so
Since we are not the body,
so what are we really, and why do we keep coming back if we know this is a world of suffering? Why don't we just leave?
who said we are not the body?
Are we?
No, I'm cross-questioning you, but just to make sure the question is proper. Who said we are not the body?
Well, I believe that we're not the body.
Then who are you?
I believe that I'm more of awareness.
Well, this
Not
is how
really-
Buddhism looks at it. Buddhism looks at our nature in two ways: conventional truth and ultimate truth. Okay? So, if you are not yourself, who is having the pain in the leg? Who has come here today to Kubao? Is it a ghost? Somebody else? No. Buddhism looks at truth in two ways. First one is conventional truth. Yes, we exist. We exist. We have to take care of us. Self-care is important. Buddhism talks about it in many, many places. Buddha asks us to take care of us. But Buddhism also brings up another truth, ultimate truth. In that ultimate truth, we don't exist. We don't exist at that level. So Buddhism accepts both conventional truth and then ultimate truth. Now your question is, why are we reborn and reborn according to Buddhism? It is because we are creating karmas, conscious activities. So until these karmas are exhausted properly through meditation, by becoming an enlightened being, we are coming back again into this whole 31 realms area. There are 31 places someone can be reborn. So we are coming back because of that, and we exist at the level of conventional truth according to Buddhism. So why did the Buddha say that we exist? Then only you understand that you have to practice spiritual path. Then who is practicing spiritual path if you don't exist? Who is meditating? If you don't exist, who is meditating? Who is cultivating wholesome thoughts? That's why conventionally we exist. Ultimately we don't. So don't look at self from ultimate truth completely. They both exist. But if we want to really stop being existing, cultivate more kusala through meditation, through Brahma Viharas, loving kindness, compassion, altruistic joy, equanimity, we cultivate and then we overcome akusala, what we call defilements. Then if all goes good, we become enlightened in this life or in other future life. Then we don't exist at that point. That's how we look at it. Okay? I remember there was one speaker who went to a university to give a talk. He's a what you call motivational speaker, and the topic was how to become an entrepreneur according to the Buddhist ethics. There are lots of Buddhist ethics about how to become a good entrepreneur. I would say how to find balance, how to engage in balanced finances according to Buddhist sutras. Normally, if you look at a lot of Dhamma talks, I'm not picking up anybody, I'm just telling you in general. Lots of Dhamma talks with regard to Buddhism, if you watch a YouTube video or another video, you see that everything is impermanent, so we have to get enlightened. This is only one part of Buddhism. There are so many discourses in Pali where Buddha talk about lay people, how to become a successful lay person. Now one sutta is Sigalovada Sutta, Digha Nikaya 31. In this sutta Buddha says, lay people's discipline, how to engage in responsibility. Nowadays people like to talk about rights. My right, I want to stand up, I want to voice out. What about your responsibilities? Don't talk about rights without responsibilities. Now in today's world, everybody wants to talk about my right, I want to talk, I have right to speech, free speech. And what is your responsibility part? And that's why Buddha asks everybody to think, especially lay people, to think about their responsibilities. Actually, the best responsibility is karma. I take my ownership. Whatever I do, I talk, I think, I engage, I take my responsibility. So I'm not going to be a bad person to myself and to this society, to the country, to the global arena. Right? And then if you take Digha Janu Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya, where Buddha talks about how to become a successful layperson. Number one, you have to balance out your energy. Number two, you must be surrounded, you must protect your wealth. Number three, you must engage in spiritual friendship. Kalyana Mitta Tata. Like all of you, I hope, supposedly. And finally, you have to engage in balanced finances. Have you ever heard Buddha talks about these things? No. Yes, why no? You have never heard these things. You only hear about life is impermanent, everything is suffering. So then I think everything is negative in this life at that point. So why are we here? Right? Even we practice or not, everything is negative. No, Buddha talks about lots of positive things. That negativity must be understood through positivity. Now, what is balanced finances according to Buddha for lay people? Do not overspend, no underspend. May I know what is overspending in today's world? I think it's a very important thing. Spending more than your income, right? Do people do that? Think about that. You have two options. You go into a gas station. Now you want to get gas to your car. Suddenly the person who is working in the gas station is to say that, no credit card please today, it's not working. When you have the credit card, you want to go for the full tank. Right? When you look for the paper bills, no, do it for this much money. Not full tank on there. Because you feel the expenses through the paper bills, through the coins. But credit card, you just go for it. Full tank, you never look at it. That's why the Buddha said, do not overspend. Credit culture is important. It's a blessing to us to show that we are managing our credits. But we have to always keep in mind, that's not our money. Bank is very happy if we spend more money. Why? They say, you don't have to pay back. Why? We know you can't pay back. So we give you some sort of grace. What is the grace? Pay the minimum payment. Now you have a bill of $300. The bank asks you to pay $10. Then every month you are now following this idea for 10 months. Then you are buying for 10 months. And the bill will add up to perhaps 3,000, 4,000, and your salary is way, way down, you will never be able to pay, and you will be, then your cards will be compensated, you will have a bad credit profile, you will go through lots of problems. But there is someone who understands how to use credit cards, how to use a line of credit, how to manage a mortgage, right? So Buddha talks about. So when that gentleman went to the talk, the students in the class lectures, how come you are talking about how to find balanced finances in Buddhism? Buddha said, we don't exist. Then who is using money? Similar question. He said, yes, Buddha said we don't exist at the ultimate truth level. Conventionally we exist. Then he asked, then who have come here today to listen to my talk? Right? Yeah. So that's how we look at it. So I asked you to read some of the suttas which the Buddha gave for lay people. Before you touch the monk suttas, monastic suttas, now I feel a lot of people study, they get to study all the monastic suttas and they think lay life is such a bad place. But when we learn about the Buddha's life, we know there were a lot of devotees, laymen, laywomen who became Sotapanna already without being monks and nuns. There were Sakadagami individuals. Visakha was a Sotapanna. Vishaka, one of the very ideal women in Buddhism was Vishaka. She became a Sotapanna when she was 7 years old, and then she dated a man. Interesting, huh? After became a Sotapanna, dating a man. Huh? Because nowadays, lay people becoming monks and nuns to become a Sotapanna. But she did the other way around. And then she got married to someone. Right? So I think lay person status never matters. Never matter to becoming a good person. That's why I'm suggesting when a Buddhist monk is giving a Dhamma talk, we have to give lay people how to level up their lay life as a lay person without them feeling that we don't get to the the best level of the spirituality. Because whether you are a monk or not, a Buddhist monk might wear the robes, but the same person, they are also supposed to manage the same akusala and same kusala. Right? Kusala, akusala, they are mattering to both of them similarly. So that's how we look at it. So then we exist conventionally and we don't exist ultimately. Understanding these two levels of existing, non-existing is the truth, is the reality. And then work on that path. And then next will be here, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I think this might be a long question. So I guess I've been around activism for quite a while now, and I think this is very pertinent because we're having protests against corruption in this country. At the same time, there's a friend who told me that there's a tension between following the Dharma and wanting things to be better in this world and here and now. I'm wondering whether he is right about it, and should I choose between one or the other?
Can you say his version first?
There's a tension between following the Dharma and wanting things to be better, or trying to change the, I guess, society because you know it's causing a lot of suffering for other people, even though they don't necessarily believe in this thing. So yeah, I wonder is that something that we have to choose between one, or that you have to choose between, like following the precepts, following the Dharma, following the path of, and then fighting for a better future for other people,
Fighting for the rights of other people.
yeah.
I think we cannot separate that out, because I think it has to be I think we have to have the right holistic attitude towards what's happening in the country and one's own spiritual journey. In that case, what I understand is let's be evil and then do something for those XYZ people. And at that point, no Dharma, okay? No, I think what I ask people who follow Buddhism is that transcend beyond binaries of the politics. You might get stuck with liberal views and conservative views. Any country could be left wing, right wing, or liberal thoughts and conservative thoughts. Why are we supposed to be stuck in the political binaries? Buddhists can transcend beyond these two. Why I cannot have a holistic attitude towards what's happening in my country, in the globe? Think about corruption. It is not the issue of one country. Some countries are more corrupted, while other countries are mildly corrupted. Some are less corrupted. But still, corruption can be a problem, because corruption also is like water. When the water is inside a tumbler, it takes the shape of a tumbler. When it goes to a swimming pool, it takes the shape of the swimming pool. When one thing is busted, they find other ways to do the corruption. As a Buddhist, how to look at a situation where there are massive corruptions or briberies and all these things when they are happening in our own system? One thing is that, what is the easiest way what people do when they become very emotional? They get together, they want to chase out the politicians. Right? This happened in Sri Lanka some time ago. Sri Lanka went bankrupt as a result of that. They have defaulted their IMF loan now until 2028. So the government who will be taking up by that time will have a lot of problem, will go through a lot of problem how to pay back the installments. And Nepal, that was a disaster. They even killed the Prime Minister's wife. Right? Nobody can control at that point. So is it just oozing or chasing out the politicians, or to educate people in the country? When you vote for the right politician, what are you supposed to look at? Because people, when they were so much suffering, they look for the easy money. Near the election, politicians in many countries go and they give away money. And they need money. They badly need money. Then we need to look at Buddhist teachings about how did the Buddha ask how to govern a country properly. In the Kutadanta Sutta, in the Digha Nikaya, Buddha said governments should have equally distributed money. Governments should not create a massive gap between the poor and the rich people. Now if you see corrupted countries, they have a very, very massive gap between the maybe poor and low income and the upper middle class. Why is it? Because these are not properly distributed. Maybe the people who are supposed to take care of the financial management should be supervised by another group of people. In many countries, you appoint a very nice person and you think that person will do everything, but that person is not monitored by somebody else. In many countries, all these high officials are monitored by another layer of extended security. It's like our passwords nowadays. We have a password, but it's not enough, so they are giving us an OTP code now. Why? Because we know password can be imagined by somebody. And they have another thing called extended security, enhanced security. I think rather than chasing out people, whoever the people who are thinking how to do the change, they have to think how to change the system. Because if you bring another person through the election to the same position, you are creating that same opportunity for the person to keep engaging in the corruption. So let us educate people, let us change the system, right? Frustration and then driven by the frustration and doing things is not the. And finally what we are doing is we are destroying our own scanty resources in the country, right? In many, because we are not talking about a very, very rich country in the Europe or in North America. We are talking about countries who are barely managing their resources and trying to come to that level. So my understanding to Buddhism, to that question, is that we cannot be apolitical. We all may have political views, but bring those political views into a place where you transcend beyond leftist and right wing, left wing, right wing understanding. Because all these people have mistakes, problems done in the past. Let us think beyond these things. Let us think about our future generation. Let us think about how to bridge the gap of this thing. And massive corruptions also have some other issues. The politicians are not taxing the rich people sometimes, right? Because they are friends to them too, right? Right? So the government is not getting enough money. And when there is some money coming up, somebody will put that in the pocket, right? So all these things have to be monitored, and system has to be changed. As a Buddhist, we have to have a right attitude with regard to how to change this system peacefully, right? That is what we are supposed to do. So I think you don't have to become un-Buddhist until you finish your anti-corruption campaign. Huh? You have to be a Buddhist. Being a Buddhist, come up with the better idea for the country, right? That could be a good way to look at it. And then, yes.
Yes. So thank you for that, Bhante. Actually, that's also my question, but you answered it comprehensively. So I think I'll just ask you a personal problem that I've been experiencing. But so Mon knows this, and he actually helped me a lot in the previous retreat. So for context, I'm actually I still consider myself as agnostic, but I find a particular interest in Buddhism. So I attend retreats and I meditate daily. But one of the hindrances that I've experienced in meditation is when I'm alone, it's hard for me to meditate, especially at night, because I'm afraid of ghosts. So I haven't seen any ghosts or haven't experienced anything, but it always bothers me. So there are times that I can't even sleep at night when I'm alone. It's difficult for me to sleep. But it has improved now. After my meditation with my retreat with Mon last August, it has improved a lot. But I'm wondering what the sutta says about ghosts, and I mean other people. I know other people who's afraid of them too.
I don't want to overload you with many ghost stories. Then you come back again. Somehow you went to a retreat. Somehow you reduced that problem. Because you're asking where are the ghosts in the Buddhist sutras. So I don't want to overload that thinking. So what I can say is, I think it's your situation. The situation you had was a very normal situation. Even let's say someone is going to be alone in this place at night. Think about this place. Not many sofas, not many materials. You can't say it's unfurnished, but it's kind of very basically, very basic. If you think that next to me is a ghost, not you, I will be frightened by that thinking. Because Buddhism says ghosts don't need to physically get into a place, because they can travel anywhere. So I think it's a very normal feeling. Just like how people think they don't want to turn the lights off at night. Some people, they want to keep the light on, right? So I think it's a very normal problem. What can we do in Buddhism to overcome this issue? The Buddha asks us always, when you practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya, that means precepts, just like how we talk about, we all are supposed to keep the precepts, and the meditation, whatever the meditation, a daily meditation, not when you feel you want to meditate, you go meditate and come back again, right? Forget about it, right? A daily meditation, consistent practice, and then being able to understand life with some reality. The moment I understand life with reality, what is happening to me? Why am I here? Why is it happening to those people? Why are some people very poor, utterly poor? Why some people go to sleep without having dint of food? I'm looking at what is happening. We always use the same brush to say politicians, right? I mean, in every country, the easiest way to find a culprit. So that reality finding helps me to ground myself. Where am I at this point? So when you develop Sila, Samadhi, Panya in your own way, you are creating a certain spiritual power within you. Okay? So whenever you feel that I'm scared of a ghost, I'm scared of a spirit, if you, at the same time, if you think, I have a practice now, this practice given by the Buddha, and this was guaranteed practice, nobody can harm me, you will overcome that. If you need a very standardized advice from the Buddha, I would tell you to read Dajagga Sutta. What is it? You can search on Google, Dajagga Sutta. Later on I can give you. In this Dajagga Sutta, there's an interesting story going on about exactly something like this. You know, in Buddhism, there's a mythological war between Deva, deities, and demons. We call Asura. Sura, Asura. Although Suras are very, powerful, but Suras are losing their willpower in the war. Because Asuras are attacking very badly. Although they are not that strong, they don't give up. They keep attacking. They are ambuscading Devas. So then, at one point, some of the Devas went to see the Buddha and told the Buddha, Bhante, we have a problem. We are fighting with Asuras. Asura, we win sometime, but most of the time, Asuras win. And we know Asuras shouldn't have won those wars, but they are not that capable. But they are ambuscading us. They are doing a lot of tactics. They are doing a lot of, in the war, people who are doing tactics, they win faster, not the power. You may have a lot of power. So, can you give some teachings for us to practice in the war? Now we're asking what to do in the war. And then the Buddha said, what did your head god ask you to do? Sakka, god Sakka is the head god in Buddhism. So he asks us, whenever you feel frustrated, unhappy, frightened, terrified because of Asura's attacks, you look up to the flag of a particular Deva who is in the battlefield. So there are 3 Devas. The first one is, I think, Varuna. Varuna is also in the battlefield. You look up to because Varuna is fighting with his own cart. Look up to his flag. Then your fear should go down, anxiety should go down, horripilation should go down, terror should go down. Then the Buddha said, did it work? It worked a little bit, then again fear came back. Then the Sakka asked them to watch another god's flag. I think it's Pajapati. And the same thing happened. Didn't help that much. Then again, Sakka asked other gods to look up to another flag. That was Varuna, one of the very famous Devas. And then he also asked to look up his own flag. It also didn't work. Then the Buddha questioned, do you know why it didn't work? None of these Devas have overcome Lobha, Dosa, Moha. All these Devas, including your head god, your leader, has still greed, hatred and delusion. So when you are scared about something, you are scared. And how is someone who still have greed, hatred, delusion help you? They are also struggling in their own way. Then I tell you something to do when you are scared, not even the ghosts, not even enemies. Number one is, you can think about the Buddha's great qualities. You can do that. How many great qualities are there in the Buddha? 9 great qualities. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purushadhamma Sarati Sattade Manasa Buddho Bhagavan. And Buddha is giving some other backup plans. In case your fear still continues, you're still scared, then you can think about Dhamma's great qualities. How many qualities are there in the Dhamma? 6. Swakato, Sanditiko, Akaliko, Hipassiko, Upanayiko, Pachattang Vetabhuvi. And then the Buddha gives a last resort. In case you still happen to go through some frustrations, fears, then you should think about the Sangha's great qualities. Sangha. Sangha is it's not even the monks. Sangha doesn't even mean the monks. Even the lay people who have attained Sotapanna, they are also Sangha. This Sangha classification is not to be taken from the robes and non-robes. Right? We understand those who are wearing robes are becoming Sotapannas or maybe already Sotapannas. But lay people who have already Sotapanna Sakadagami also Sangha. And the Buddha said to those devas, deities, if by thinking the Buddha's great qualities, 9, if by thinking Dhamma's great qualities, 6, still your fear continues, you must think about Sangha's 9 great qualities. Supatipanno, Ujjupatipanno, Nyayapatipanno, Samijjapatipanno, so and so forth. Then he guarantees your fear must cease, must stop. That means triple gem, Tiratana. So I think I can give you 2 suggestions. One is, if you cannot think about, I think these Pali terms might be a little new to you. So if your first thing to do is that every time you feel scared when you are alone, you think about your practice. I'm practicing Sila, Samadhi, Panya. May my practice give me strength at this point. Actually, when someone is practicing Sila, Samadhi, Panya, no non-human can attack them. They might be around, but they cannot attack you. Always think I'm stronger than ever before through my practice. So you will create that shield, that protection. So you don't have to go after how many ghosts are there in Buddhism or what are the moments Buddha talked to ghosts. I think they are irrelevant. They are not necessary actually. Yes. That is the way how to overcome that. You can overcome. Yes. And I think you found out the Jagasutta, right? Please share with her, or maybe we can do it later. Yeah. Yes.
Hello. I was also going to ask about ghosts because but I have another question in mind. I think it's related to his question as well. So you mentioned earlier about us creating karmas and all that. So my question is, of course, one principle of that is always being kind to others, always doing good in this world. But I think about those who, I actually asked this question to Sermon as well. Like, I actually think about those who physically can't for some reason, because probably there are mothers who are poor and they're taking care of their kids and they're working full-time as well, and they're dealing with a lot of harsh clients, and probably they're probably having some mental incapacity, or they're probably just not privileged, so they're suffering every day. So what does Buddhism say about that?
So you are saying that we all are supposed to practice good virtues such as loving kindness, compassion, kindness, altruistic joy and equanimity, but some people don't have the opportunity level compared to someone when it comes to executing that. I don't think that we all must come to a certain level to practice. Now, even we look at ourselves, our financial strength, our family strength, the level of our Dhamma knowledge could be very different from one to one. But I understand there are people who are going through lots of difficulties compared to us. It might be poverty and all that. So then that's the point where Buddha talks about that other, like you and other people, they have to come up with ideas to support these people as Kalyana Mitras. Support them with some food, support them with some other plans, right? Maybe you might be someone who is educating the society to change the society, support the poor people, hungry people. Yes. So then we will make them empowered to get to this practice at a certain point. But I think even those people who are having a lot of difficulties, I think you were not talking about mental problems, you were talking some physical problems, right?
Including that, yes.
Okay, physical problems, if they are physical problems, so we can help them in whatever the way. And I think that they are physically incapacitated, they have ways to engage in good things in their own way. They have their own ways. Even if you get into a conversation with them, they might talk about how they are helpful towards in their own community. So maybe we can discuss about. But for us, if we are having a very comfortable life, then we must think about these people. This is a very big accusation that many people are making against Buddhism, because Buddhists are not engaging in community activities, humanitarian activities. This is why the Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh started a different kind of Buddhism, engaged Buddhism. When he went to the US study and taught, he came back to Vietnam and he was refused entry because of the communist government. He went to France. This is the place, Plum Village. Yes. So then he started engaged Buddhism with 14 principles. In those 14 principles, he mentioned in one of the principles, when many people, millions are hungry, how come you eat good food? You have to think about it. Now, maybe I have a cross question. Now think about Philippines. I think how many people are going to sleep with hunger?
40%.
40%, maybe 7 million actually, maybe more than that. Maybe more than that. 116 is the population, maybe 7 to 10 or maybe more than that go to sleep without having enough food. Now how to combat this issue? What can we do? Are we always looking for the government to do some program? Yes, they must do. They have to plan. They have subsidized money. But what can we do? Maybe as an NGO organization, as a community organization, think about it. Lots of pastry shops, one idea. They cannot use those pastry for tomorrow. But they are not stale. They are not stale. They are not actually leftover. Good one, but they cannot sell tomorrow. What if someone coming up collecting these pastries at the end of the day and trying to distribute in a certain barangay or wherever these food, because those people cannot go to those coffee shops, right? They will be asked to leave, right? And somebody, why are we not thinking these ways? Food bank, some other ways to help these people. Not even that. Maybe creating certain plans for those people to engage in entrepreneurial small business activities. Not that government is supposed to give money every day, so they are depending on money. No, we give you money, we monitor 1 year with a capital. You should come up with a small business. So, those things also should happen to make them empowered, right? So, while we understand they do in their own way, we have to engage, we have to do certain good things for those people. Mentally incapacitated people, they have a different way. So maybe when we know someone is depressed, stressed out, we can bring them to a certain psychological service. We can help them understand, you don't need to be so frustrated. Don't come up with suicidal thought. There's always help. You only need to voice out, tell us, share us, you are not alone. You can be a good person to listen, actively listening to the person. Nowadays in houses, not many people talk in the house. They all checking their phones. Even when they are in the dining table, they are checking. Nobody talks, right? They are in their own world. So what is happening? Not many people can get into this digital overload. Some people are lonely. When they are lonely, what will happen? They cannot take the pressure from their work, from their studies, from the co-workers' pressure. So maybe you might be listening to their versions if you think those mentally incapacitated people, bringing them to certain services. Maybe you create a certain program for those people who cannot discuss, share their problems, maybe psychological services, fast track services. Now if you want to see a psychologist, you have to pay a lot, maybe 3,000 to 4,000 peso. It has become a very elite system. Why can't we create a system for everybody who don't have any money? Because we value the life of everybody in Buddhism, right? If we go by the financial status to look for the support, I think many people will suffer and maybe they might take their life too, which is not good. So let us think about what we can do to help them out, and then you can make a change one day, I hope. Yes.
Hi, thank you. I'm still a layperson, and my question is related to what I'm going through at this time. And so, yeah, we all know that craving or attachment leads to suffering. But how can we tell if it's not yet suffering, if it is still sad, if it is only sadness, loneliness? How can we tell? Is there a time frame? Because sometimes it's hard to let go. So that's my question.
Do you want to tell us not this whole story? What kind of sadness is this? What's the consequence?
Maybe frustration, something like that.
Frustration about life or people?
About an aspiration.
Okay. Then you have to check whether your aspirations are realistic or unrealistic. Normally, when our expectations become unrealistic, we call them as resolutions. They are not aspirations. Right? Think about on the 1st of January, anybody is making a wish. This year, by the end of this year, December 31st, I should cut my weight in 10 kilos. Someone who is very much into rice. Then think about, maybe it might not be a very realistic idea. What if that you think, by the end of this year, at least I will cut my weight in 4-5 kilos. Okay? So I think you have to check whether your expectations are realistic or unrealistic. What is this realistic or unrealistic idea? Because normally your expectations involve other people, right? Our expectations normally include other people, not I myself. So if other people are involved in my expectations, then I have to carefully look at how realistic is my expectation. Right? If you can give me an example, I can make it more clear.
How about in relationships, friendships?
What do you expect from a friendship, from somebody?
Being around.
Emotionally available. Then?
Yes, emotional availability.
Yes, emotional availability. Nowadays, people are not that much available, right? Anywhere in the world, right? For whatever the reason. Because some people have their own problems. So now you want somebody who is emotionally available to. So how to get to that point without we understand the other person? Maybe we have a buffer zone. First, understanding, is this the right person for me to think about it? Expect the emotional availability. Oh, I casually hang up with somebody and then later on expecting I should have given more emotional availability, but you did not give me that, so I don't like anything about you. It's better to clarify whether I can expect this thing from this particular person. But Buddhism says we don't need people, that many people sometimes. Loneliness, if you have a good practice, spiritual practice, you will never become bored. Nowadays, if you ask people, I'm very bored, why? Nobody talks to me, nobody check my life, nobody check my day. Why are we depending on other people? That is another Buddhist concept. I'm not saying you should be like that. I think you want someone to be emotionally available. So I think it's better to check the person before you expect that. This availability. That is very important. Because we might not be able to change other people by picking on them or anything. So make a choice first and then to make an aspiration realistically.
Thank you.
Give me one more thing. On the other hand, some people are busy, not that they want to be busy. Maybe their work, maybe their life. But if you becoming more kind to them, they will become more available to you. Not that you must be available to me, you must talk to me this time. Then they will, why should I? So let us do our part also to make a change, natural change from the other person. Some people, they want to control, manipulate. Because I talk to you, I'm with you, you must talk to me. And then that person feels that you are looking for an entitlement in this relationship. Let us make the change in a very natural, kind way.
Is it safe to say to leave the door not open but unlock, but not waiting at the door, something like that?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, okay.
It's also about those things, about the impermanence of things. Thus, being a monk or Buddhist practitioner means I could move on easily when, example, I have a breakup or experiencing a death of someone or any attachment. Does it mean I can move on easily if I'm a monk or a Buddhist practitioner?
Can you rephrase again? Can you rephrase the question again in short?
So does being a monk or a Buddhist means I could move on easily on the attachments of life? Like for example, I have a breakup and I'm a Buddhist. Does that mean I could easily move on because I know that things are impermanent?
I don't think so. That means people will never fall in love with the Buddhist because they they will never fall in love with the Buddhist because they move on very fast. You know? These Buddhists are very cruel people. Yes, I know that you are bringing up a certain very interesting Buddhist concept and thinking, are all Buddhists like that? So I'm telling you that letting go is a very big turning point to many people in their life. Don't think about relationship first. Think about sadness. Someone dies in our personal, circles. Even a Buddhist will go through that same journey, grief journey. Finally, what will heal them is the time. Even that understanding about impermanence, dukkha, anatta, anicca, dukkha, anatta, will help that person only by spending a certain long period of time. Then understand, I understand nobody will live forever. I am also part of it and I have to accept it. When it comes to relationship, then you Buddhists will never do a relationship because they don't exist, right? So then how to look for another person? If I don't exist, how to date somebody, right? So what I understand is, as I said, at the conventional truth, anybody is going into those normal things, dating, relationships, but it depends on the person's ability to move on. I hope that a Buddhist can look at it. I don't think Buddhists can break up, because if Buddhists are going to fall into a relationship, fall in love with somebody, they have to treat that person with lot of metta, loving kindness, then kindness, compassion, then altruistic joy and equanimity. So Buddhists should be able to manage any issue that is coming from the other partner. So I think there's a very less area to work with the mismatching stuff. In the modern society, when someone doesn't like the other person's stuff, they might easily go into that kind of a thing because of material thing. But Buddhists are looking beyond the material, money, looks and everything, because they know things are, when they date somebody, they know that this is fading away one day, right? Right? So I think I take it the other way around. I think Buddhists can survive in a relationship much longer than anybody. If it is true. Let's say not everybody is coming to a certain level at some time. So breakups can happen. When the breakup happens, understanding what really happened, maybe a remorse, maybe what can I fix? Should I go for another person or not? Should I now give some time for me to understand my own problems? Did I manipulate the other person? Did I give enough kindness to other person? Did I look at my relationship beyond my personal comforts? So I think those things will be checked by a Buddhist more than the other person, I think. Yes. So that is how I look at it.
Thank you.
Because if I say yes, then nobody will date a Buddhist. Yes. Yes. Angela.
Good afternoon. I guess my question is just how to maybe overcome, like in psychology, like learned helplessness, like you feel like you've encountered a certain problem but you don't seem to be able to solve it. So in the end, you feel like you're not capable of solving it, so you give up. Like, so how to deal with that?
How to solve a problem when the person doesn't know, when the person doesn't know the particular way out for that problem. Okay. Well, in our life, there are problems. A good Buddhist, someone who follows the Buddha's teachings, find out better answers for all the problems. Money, relationships, careers, even the spiritual practice, there may be challenges. So depending on how we, take the questions into the solution part, different people go through challenges. So what Buddhism says is that throughout, the whole canon text, that every problem has a short answer and a long answer. So sometimes we don't see the answer yet. So we shouldn't be frustrated. Then we have to pick up the short answer, right? So then we will do the short answer, because one day I will get to the long answer. But we should be never ended up in a situation that my question has no answers. So Buddhism does provide, because the framework of that situations come from the central conception of Buddhism, the central teaching of Buddhism. What is it? Paticca samuppada, the dependent origination, cause and effect. If every effect has a cause, then every problem has a cause that led that problem to arise. If every problem that was arisen is a situation, there is a way to treat that problem. Then this causal link tells us that you must think about, there's a short answer, long answer. How do I know my short answer, long answer? That's why we need some guidance from spiritual teachers, right? Like how you ask questions today, right? You need some guidance. You don't know how to get to that level. You don't know how to look at a possible answer. So stay ambitious, stay hopeful that there's an answer, which you might not be able to find it, maybe through the Kalyana Mitta support, through a teacher, you will be able to find it. Yes. We will make it to one more question and then we will...
I think I'm the last one.
Yes. Yes.
My question is, what's the reason we have our tongue touch the roof of our mouth during meditation?
Very interesting. That is not given in the suttas. That is a certain contemporary idea, because that helps us to focus. It can help us to focus longer. So that's why that is optional. If you don't want, you can miss it out. But by doing that, tongue on the roof of the mouth will help you to keep focusing. Keep being onto that particular object. Meditation here, breath meditation. Yes.
Thank
I
you.
could say it's an additional support. Yes. Right? Yes, Mr. Moore.
So Bhante has very kindly accommodated each and everyone's concerns. That is quite unusual and we have gone over time. It is only proper to also give a token of our appreciation. So
I would do the Anumodana first and then you will do it. I will do the Anumodana to the departed ones and Deva,
yes.
And then you will do that later.
Yes, Bhante.
But you can.
But we haven't collected yet.
Give the announcement.
Yeah, so I'll just have to announce. No? So here is the Dana box. So you have two choices if you have some gifts to give Bhante, and if you want to also give some cash donation, you can. We'll put the cushion here, and then you can kneel and give it directly to Bhante, or we can just collect it, put it in a box, and then we will collectively give it to Bhante.
Okay. Now after this they can do it,
and then we will have picture taking.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so now I'm going to transfer all the good karmas to the departed ones that we've been making today. We've been practicing meditation and listening to a Dhamma talk. Actually Q&A, lots of you ask, all of you ask questions and could find answers. May all the good karmas you be making today be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. At the same time, may Deva, Naga, Mahidika receive all the good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you, Mr. Mon and family, and all of your family members, your grandkids, all of them be well and happy. May they be protected and blessed by Deva, Naga, Mahidika for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, happiness. May Deva, Naga, Mahidika deities attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. At the same time, nothing is possible without the assistance of Kalyana Mittas in Buddhism. The Buddha said all the success in our spiritual journey depends on how many Kalyana Mittas we are surrounded with. We all are Kalyana Mittas. I know that you are gathering here every Saturday, and even in this space you develop mindfulness, meditation in this hustle bustle life. It's a very important appreciative activity. In this so much distracted world, you make time to come here and then to make time for meditation, mindful. I hope that you will bring all these good teachings back home and then to plant them. You know, one of the teachings of Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh is that you cannot instill wisdom on somebody. Everyone carries the wisdom of seed of wisdom, but only a good teacher can touch and sprout and awaken that wisdom. So that is such a very important thing. So then please, when you carry the Dhamma message, all the teachings, you need to plant your own seed. Otherwise, only takeaways will be brought back home by notes, understanding. You will forget them on the next day. Right? So may the Kalyana Mitta friendship, spiritual friends who have gathered here, continue in our Dhamma journey. May we become Kalyana Mittas to many people, many sentient beings in our sansaric journey till we attain it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Finally, may all the good karmas we've been doing in this place by meditation, Q&A Dhamma sessions, and transference of good karmas, sharing good karmas, and wishing more Kalyana Mitta friendships be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let me do a bit of chanting just in short. Sabbityo vivanjantu sabbarubu vinasatu mate bhavan bantarayu sukedi gayuku bhava bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te Abhivadana Silissa Nichang Vardhapachayino Chattaru Dhamma Vardhanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarugya Sangpatti Sagga Sangpatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sangpatti Iminati Samicchatu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Now you can bow down to the Sangha. Yes, now you can